Hello and welcome to the next ReeVlog. I'm in the flat still. It's nearly 7. Got to go soon. Due to Devon. No, not to Devon. It just rhymed with 7. So I have to get going to work, what I'm currently getting ready for. But I figured I've got a little bit of time. The flatmate has gone to work, so I won't embarrass myself by recording in front of her. In effect, I am tired in the same way that I am frequently. The general fatigue, exhaustion kind of tired, more so than the not enough sleep kind of tired. And they do feel different, though it is very difficult to put into words currently. I imagine if I was fully awake and had enough sleep, then I'd be able to do it. But this last night I only got about 6 hours, which is still a lot more than I used to get, and I still sometimes do get, woo insomnia, but a lot less than I also sometimes now get, which I am worried might be oversleep on my part. Sleeping for 12 hours, for example, when my body is used to sleeping for between like 4 and 7 at best these days, having progressed uphill from like 2. Yeah, that's a big change and something that I don't think my body's used to and will take a lot to get used to. But that's okay. I don't think it should get used to that. 12 hours sleep means that I will then have 12 hours in a day. That's not something I want, especially when 9 of them are effectively spent at work, 8 till 5. Yeah, I get a lunch break in which I come back, I eat, and I go back to work. And then I spend an hour travelling to work, which puts it at 10 hours, which leaves me 2. One of which is getting ready for work in the morning, one of which will be getting ready for bed in the evening. That's not the life that I want to live, and I don't want to be reliant on caffeine, like I kind of was yesterday, and I probably will be tomorrow, to do an evening activity. I want to be able to just do evening activities, and I think that getting used to sleeping that much isn't going to be good for me. So I'm currently trying to think of ways to put things in place to make sure that I don't go to bed too early, but also then don't end up staying up far too late. Trying to think of a reasonable bedtime with when I wake up, how to combine everything like that. Because at the end of the workday, if it's not a terrible fatigue day, or a bad fatigue day, if it's just a normal fatigue day or a good fatigue day, then the very end of the workday is oftentimes one of the points where I have the most energy. I think that's because it is this release of the stress, and letting go of that, knowing that I don't have to go back, and then I have the evening ahead of me, I can rest. I think that mental state is what makes me feel energized, and it doesn't last for very long. But what I'm thinking is that in that tiny moment of euphoria, of being like, oh, I'm done for the day, at that moment, I can do something else, be it just a longer walk home, do some more skipping or something like that, be it go for a drive, go somewhere, that'll be something for when the car is sorted, because I currently have check engine light related issue, and I've checked it, and it's something that I'm getting seen to this weekend, hopefully. But go for a drive, go for a walk, run, potentially, if I have that much energy, I'm wearing appropriate shoes, I don't have my bag or anything bulky to carry, go for a run, make sure I take my inhaler with me. I could even just walk to the shop and buy something that I need to get, but not make it a big shop, because usually I will hold off on getting things I need to get until there's a big shop, then go do a big shop. But I could walk to the shop and buy something, like, I don't know, if I ran out of milk, I could buy some milk, or ran out of bread, I could buy some bread, that sort of thing. Though my brother has convinced me to spend an exorbitant amount of money on meat, for a week to see how my joints feel, because he has noted that he's had a notable improvement having eaten a lot more steak, beef steak. So I'm going to give it a go. It's not going to be this week, might not be next week. It depends on the car situation, because it's a lot of money to buy a lot of beef. Money that I don't really have anyway. It's going to like stretch the budget a little bit, not break it, but maybe bend it. And then I'll also have the matter of if I've got to pay someone to get the car done, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Like, that's expensive. I don't know how expensive this particular issue would be to resolve, but there are like base rates that I'll have to meet at the very least for their labour. So yeah, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Noted that one Sunday afternoon when the light came on. All good. But yeah, so that's my plan, is to try and spend more time before I get back to the flat doing stuff. Because once I'm here, I then have the option to lay down. An option that I would like to take all day, most days at the moment. An option that when it's there and it presents itself, very, very difficult to resist, because there's not much else that I'm capable of doing at the end of the day. I mean, I laid in bed for an hour before I got up today, just fatigued, being like, oh, I wish I could sleep more, but I can't. I tried to sleep more in that hour, and I failed, but I laid in bed for an hour with the alarm and everything, and I was like, right, I've got to force myself to get up. And the doctor said forcing myself to do things is probably not a good idea, because it'll delay my recovery, might make me worse, yada yada yada. I don't think they said it might make me worse, but they were like, don't do it. So I'm going to assume that it might make me worse. So far, no medication that I've tried has helped. It is all like herbal stuff, because the doctors don't have anything for me. But I mean, all of their stuff is derived off of herbal stuff anyway, so it's probably going to be relatively similar. MNM or MNMN, I think, is one of the things. I don't know the science name for it off the top of my head. Now I'm having Shilajit, which is vile, but I heard about it like 2 years ago, and I wanted to try it at the time, but I couldn't afford it. Now, I'm like, well, maybe it'll help me. So far, and it's only been a few days, not much, really. I got it like last week. Haven't noticed any difference. Apparently it's got 30 servings, so I'm going to give it a go until it runs out, and then if it's no noticeable difference, I'm going to stop. Oh, tastes so bad though. What else? Doing stuff, yes, in the evenings, because if I'm here, I'm gonna lay in bed, which I'm gonna do. I'm either gonna lay in bed or I'm gonna lay on the floor, and either way, I might fall asleep. And once I fall asleep, that's it. That's me done for the day, more or less. Yeah, it's effectively trying to use not caffeine to stay awake for longer. Caffeine I have to get me through the workday, and then Kung Fu at the moment. Yesterday I had some towards the end of the workday, because I knew I was going to a friend's place to play some board games. It was either going to be D&D or board games. Turned out to be board games. Perfectly happy with that. Did the board games. They went on a bit longer than I anticipated, but board games do take a while. I just haven't played any in a while, so I kind of forgot that they take so long. So did that, then came back, went to bed. But I had caffeine late in the day yesterday, because I knew it was going to be a later night. And so I was like, okay, if I have this at like 3 o'clock, as opposed to stopping It's like a hard cut unless I have kung fu in the morning, or at least before my lunch break at work, which is usually 1:30 around then. So if I stop at about 1, then getting to bed at 7, 6 hours later, I would fall asleep. Usually no problem, unless the all insomnia kicks in. Yeah, so like, okay, cool. I've got 6 hours effectively from when I drink it to when I can sleep. With regards to that, I was like, okay, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Didn't get back here until like 11, and I was knackered when I got back. But someone noticed even that I zoned out whilst playing the board game. But it was great fun. I enjoyed myself. It's something that is going on the schedule for a weekly, bi-weekly thing. So Mondays, every Monday, for the most part, should do something. Maybe not next week because people will be busy, but most Monday evenings have a thing planned. I don't want to overexert myself by having scheduled things in with other people every evening. I had that last year. That was exhausting, and that was when I was at one of the healthiest parts of my life. Now I am definitely not in that part of my life anymore. It would ruin me. So I am going to try to participate in D&D with my friends, provided it meets a schedule that I can stick to. Though it's not a regular schedule, it's very choppy at the moment. It's like, can we do Monday? No. Well, I can't do Tuesday. Can you do Wednesday? I can never do Wednesday. How about Friday? Who cares about Thursday? How about Friday? Maybe can do Friday. Obviously, for me, it largely depends on my energy levels on a day-to-day basis. So I can say, I can probably do Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Any of those. But then when the day rolls around, if it's a Tuesday and I practically crawl up the stairs to the flat, I'm not playing D&D that night. I'm going to bed. And there are going to be days like that. I've accepted this, and it's something that I just have to deal with. I may not want to go to bed immediately, and on days where I am fatigued, but not to a point where I practically can't walk without a great deal of effort. On those days, where I'm not quite that fatigued, I can still do little things. They can't be super active, really, but I'm thinking I can maybe do some very lightweight exercise. Not like light with this. This isn't really light. But like light with this. This is 1/2 kilo. Practically like a tin of beans. I could do some like wrist exercises with this, or some just mostly mental kung fu practice, because I can practice the basic moves in small form and visualize it in my head. It's not as good as doing the full practice, but it is something. That way, I will continue to do stuff, hopefully get less skill regression, less atrophy from just being a potato. And with all of that, I will then also get into a better sleep schedule, which is a large part of this. I'm going away to D&D thing, October, second weekend of October, I believe it is. At that point, sleep schedule's out the window because it's going to be D&D until late into the evening. Oh yeah! Which I'm going to really enjoy. It is going to ruin any schedule I have, though. And that's okay. Work have been gracious and said no van days for 6 weeks following that weekend. So 6 weeks after that, I'm going to have a schedule set, and I'm going to stick to it. The issue is Kung Fu, because getting back from Kung Fu at 10, 10:30 in the evening means that my bedtime has to, at the very latest, or very earliest, be 10. And if if it is 10, then I have to leave Kung Fu on time. The instructor should be taking every lesson again soon. There's one more they expect me to have to take, maybe 2 more, because they're going away. But I don't remember whether they're going away like Wednesday to Wednesday, at which point that'll be 2 lessons. But they're going away, and then after which it's more or less going to be them taking all the lessons again, which is good. Glad to hear it. I enjoyed taking the lessons, but the reason I was taking the lessons is because they had a family medical issue, which seems to be resolving itself. Yay! Yes, anyway, I've got to hurry up and finish this off because I've got to get going. It's 7 a.m. Yeah, so I've got to say things. Where was I? Kung Fu, bedtime. Yeah, so if the earliest bedtime I can have is 10, I'm probably going to say half 10. Half 10 every night, unless I have a big wave of fatigue that knocks me for 6. Don't know where that saying comes from, but whatever. For that, it's going to be hard to maintain 10 p.m. because that means for the Mondays, I'll have to say, okay, I'm going to get there at 7. We're going to do stuff, and I have to leave by 9:45 to 10 because it is roughly a 5-10 minute drive back. Then you've got to allow for traffic, making it 10:15, and then I've got to get up the stairs, get ready for bed, get into bed, go to sleep. Now, there's going to be some leeway, like quarter of an hour either way. Anyway, like if I go to bed at 10:15, that seems pretty reasonable. But yeah, just give myself a quarter of an hour either side, so I've got a half an hour window. This is the window of time in which I aim to be in bed. And then the same for getting up. Have an alarm set. This I already do. And then that alarm is wake up. You are now awake. If I wake up before then, that's a shame. Insomnia, what am I going to do? But that's my wake up alarm. I don't have to be up. I have to be up to make sure I have time to have breakfast, brush my teeth, get dressed, go to work. 2 minutes ago. But obviously, as you can see, this is a 17-minute recording so far. A 17-minute recording, and I am 2 minutes late. Means I had quarter of an hour spare this morning. And admittedly, I got up just after my alarm, which goes to show there's plenty of time to spare, even on the slow mornings, because I've done the washing up, etc. But the wake-up alarm is the wake-up alarm, and I'd like to keep that earlier, because I want to have the spare time in the morning. If I wake up and get up on my alarm, rather than 10-15 minutes after my alarm, it's going to allow me so much more time. You can see this clothing hanging up, I could put that away, I could, like, tidy, do the washing up, organise what I'm going to have for lunch, potentially, all sorts of stuff, really. If I've got the energy, I can maybe do some drawing. I've not done any drawing in ages, and the plan was to do it, like, twice weekly, when I started last year, I think. Yeah, I've got to do D&D prep at some point. But, yes, pretty much, that is the plan. Get up, 5:45. 5:45? Yeah, 5:45 in the morning. Go to bed, 10:30 in the night time. That'd be what? 10:30 to 11:30, 12:30. Yeah, 7 hours and a quarter. So if we said 10:15 is the aim, and I go up to 10:45, that'd be 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours, that is within sleep cycles. So that'd be 2, 4, that'd be 5 sleep cycles. Should be fine in theory. Who knows? But yeah, that's the plan. Now we just need to see whether I can achieve it, and I need to start slowly implementing it. So wish me luck. I'm going to set this to upload. It's probably not going to upload for ages, but we'll see. And I really need to get going for work because I am 4 minutes late. So I'll catch you cats on the flip-flop. Hope you're well. Goodbye.